Right, so concerns have been raised about the dire conditions at Kabelo Primary School in Moleleki Section, that's in Katlehong. According to ACDP Councillor Linda Yates, the school's governing body sent out a letter urging parents to keep their children at home this week in order to highlight the severe lack of facilities there. The letter details issues such as non-functional toilets for both grade R and mainstream pupils, faulty electricity, a shortage of cleaning supplies, and no stationery. The school is reportedly unable to even print exam papers after months of failed attempts to get assistance from the Education Department. Let's get a better understanding of what might be taking place. Bring in Gauteng Education Department spokesperson Steve Mabona, who joins us via our video link. Live from the school, I understand. And Steve, thanks for your time. It's always great speaking to you about these issues. What have you been able to ascertain about what's happening at that school?
Thanks very much, and all our viewers. The school is in session now, as I speak to you. The curriculum delivery continues. We have interacted with the SGB. They say they were frustrated when they disrupted schooling because of lack of response from the department. But when we check, all these issues have been raised and they've been attended to. The contractor on the maintenance of the roof and the ceiling is on site. They've already started to do their work. And the contractor for the toilets and the electrical part will then be finalized. They should be here before the end of this week. The problem started when the SGB became dysfunctional. Because then they are responsible for maintenance. I mean, those toilets were not maintained because we apportion a certain allocation in coming to finances to the school, to maintenance. But they started then fighting between the acting principal and some of the SGB members. Then signatories were removed from the bank. There were so many things that happened. So the district decided to take away the financial functions from the SGB, and they launched some investigation on allegations that some SGB members raised, and those investigation continues. But there were many things that are wrong that were done at the school, stopping the process of interviewing an educator, because one educator retired and he wanted to replace, because now the SGB could not be part of that process. They stopped that process. So we will continue with that and make sure that we appoint the educator, and the principal will then be appointed by head office, because we decided let's also take away that function. Because if there are squabbles between the SGB among themselves, it becomes a challenge really for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any credence, though, to the claims that I've just outlined that have apparently been made? Non-functional toilets is one of them, faulty electricity connections and supply, a lack of cleaning supplies, no stationery. Are any of those claims correlating with what you have found there at the school this morning?
Yes, indeed. There are some toilets that are not functioning. That's why the process to have the service provider coming to the school are being fully finalized. I confirmed this morning with head office. They should be here between tomorrow and Friday. But their complaint was locked already. So it's not that it started yesterday. It's so coincidental that when these processes are finalized, then you have SGB that will then disrupt schooling, which is something that we want to caution other SGBs. You don't have to disrupt a school for you to be heard. There's different offices that can still engage up until the office of the MEC, and they should be attended. There's no way that your issues will be ignored.
Yeah.
But disrupting a school, it's problematic.
I hear that, and I think it's a point most people will accept. But the information at our disposal is that the SGB has been trying to raise these issues for the past 6 months or so. If that's true, I think many people will understand their frustration if those issues that have been raised all those weeks ago haven't been addressed.
No, there's no frustration that can be understood that you're going to disrupt school. They have not exhausted all avenues. I interacted with them personally this morning. They have not reached the head office. They have not reached the office of the MEC. So it's unthinkable that we can be understood that they must disrupt schooling. But they regret what they did because they have all these other issues. They were necessitated by them fighting amongst themselves between the principal, the acting principal, and the entire SGB, component. So they manufactured these problems, but we are intervening, making sure that there's no more disruptions. All other, complaints that were raised, they must be attended. Yes, I mean, I saw, the issues that they raised because I'm at the school now, and they must be attended to. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Steve, I'm not saying it's justifiable what happened today, but I'm saying we need to also, I suppose, be understanding of the fact that if they had to wait for 6 months before anything has happened, something was bound to take place.
No, it's not 6 months at this answer because they're including all other things that they've raised. Because they have not been, remember we took away the functions because of the case that was opened, that there was fraud that was conducted. They also have allegations that the principal might have utilized the school money for other personal things. So all those investigations, they've been going through. They were going along. So not that they were ignored. They've been going. So the lack of maintenance, because toilets must be maintained before they reach a stage where you can see that, no, head office must come on board. We give them allocation for money that they must use to maintain toilets before they reach a stage where head office must intervene because it will be structurally more, and then they will have to spend a lot of money on fixing of what would have been broken. So we are taking over the part of fixing what has been broken, but the maintenance still, lies in their shoulder as the SGB.
Right. What happens to the SGB now then? I mean, it sounds like, from your at least version of events, what we're seeing taking place to the infrastructure is a direct response to a dysfunctional SGB, which I suppose, from my knowledge, would necessitate your own intervention.
No, any dysfunctional SGBs ask questions, why must they not be disbanded? Then they should give us reasons, because we can't just disband. You ask them, basing ourselves on what we have, and we send to them, can you give us reasons why you're supposed not to be disbanded? Then after giving us the reasons, then HOD will then have to make a call. If HOD is not satisfied with the decision to disband, then they will be not be disbanded, but they must be guided. They must be trained on how to implement their policies so that they understand they are not allowed to do other things. Because remember, if the Bella Act was effective, just waiting for the date from the president, they were going to be arrested for disrupting school. Because according to the Bella Act, it's unlawful. You cannot disrupt the school. So we need to guide them. We need to train them so that they understand on what is it that they need to do and what is it that they cannot do. And when they are frustrated, what are the other avenues that they must employ, other than disrupting a school?
All right, Steve Mabona, let's leave it there for now. Thanks very much indeed for giving us your side. I know there's several other people who've been vocal around the story, and we'll certainly, hopefully, get their sentiments too. Steve Mabona is the spokesperson for the Education Department in Gauteng, speaking to us there from Kabelo Primary School. It's a school in Katlehong, seemingly bedeviled by a number of issues, including a lack of maintenance and infrastructure, which has led to the dysfunctional, toilets, lack of facilities in other respects, cleaning supplies apparently also in shortage. But Steve Mabona saying